afternoon, friends. Welcome along. You are watching News Round from our brand spanking new home in Salford.
That's right. The place might have changed, but don't worry. As always, we've got all the top stories of the day, including
the very first boat to sail the 7 seas manned completely by robots.
And we'll find out why Ricky's prouder than most to be British.
Awful gear. Before any of that, though, is your school falling apart at the seams with grotty toilets and paint peeling off the walls? Or is it all shiny and new with state-of-the-art facilities?
Loads of new schools have popped up around the UK over the last 10 years, but last year the government decided to scrap their Building Schools for the Future programme.
Hundreds of you got in touch at the time to tell us how it affected you. Some of the worst hits were kids from High Furlong School in Blackpool.
So a year on, I've been back to see if anything has changed.
This is a school for kids with physical disabilities. That means they need more room to get around. But it wasn't built for that, and last year they invited News Round to see the problems that causes.
The classrooms are too small.
Corridors are too narrow and it's impossible to get 2 wheelchairs down.
They were told they could have a brand new school, but when the new government came into power last year, they announced there was no money left.
More than 700 school building projects in England are being axed in the
Cuts were made in lots of areas, including schools, and the plans all changed. High Furlong were originally told they'd get £13 million for their new state-of-the-art school. When that was cut, they said they could make do with just £5 million. The government said even that was too much, and their hopes for a new school disappeared. But a year on, they're still here and still facing the same problems. The sinks weren't built for kids in wheelchairs, so they can't reach the taps. The corridors are too narrow for students like Melissa, which means being taken round the outside of the building just to get to another classroom, even in the rain. And all the kids feel let down.
I was upset.
Angry.
So unfair.
So can you tell me what has happened since the last time we were here?
Well, we've managed to do a few repairs, but really it's just papering over the cracks. We really need a new school. We need the money.
The government now say the decision about the money is down to the local council. They've just sent the school this letter saying right now there's no more money, which means the children here are asking the same question they did last year.
Where's our new school?
Well, we did ask the government to tell us what they thought about this, and the Department for Education sent us this statement.
Yeah, they say we'll be spending about £2 billion on school buildings this year, but we need to make sure the money goes to those that need it the most.
We've been looking at the scale of schools across England to see where work is urgently needed, and we'll be letting schools know the outcome soon.
Of course, whatever we hear, we'll let you know as soon as possible. Moving on, it could be the story from a sci-fi movie. Sure, a very bad one, but robots are taking over our waters. American scientists have created the first seaworthy ship to be manned entirely by robots.
On the epic 33,000-mile journey, 4 robots will collect data on the quality of seawater in different parts of the world.
I wonder if they'll be singing "Row, row, robot your boat all the way round." They made me say it, so I did.
Oh dear.
Soz. If that is impressive, then this definitely isn't. Time is running out before the latest space probe to Mars runs out of battery. The Russian rocket launched 12 days ago, but its engines broke and it got stuck somewhere in Earth's orbit.
Now, there's only a short time before the power to the communication systems run out. So far, all attempts to contact it have failed.
Denied.
OK. It seems like yesterday we watched as massive protests broke out in Egypt.
Yeah, back in February, thousands of people wanting an end to the country's poverty and corruption campaigned for a fortnight to try and force their president, Hosni Mubarak, out. He eventually stood down, and after days on the streets, people there were looking forward to a bright, exciting future.
But 9 months on, violence has erupted on the streets of Egypt again.
Scenes of jubilation from earlier this year on the streets of Cairo, Egypt's capital and the centre of the protests. Night after night they assembled in Tahrir Square, demanding that President Mubarak, the man in charge of the country, would go. This was the moment their wishes became true. But now, in that same square, the protesters are back. So what's happened? The protesters say little has changed. The military have been running the country since the president was overthrown. Elections are due next week, but protesters are angry that as things stand, the military will keep hold of too much power. Protests became violent over the weekend and more than 20 people have now been killed. It's not what the people behind Egypt's revolution were hoping for.
Hi girls, hello.
Hi.
I spoke to these kids about what's happening there at the moment.
At the moment, I guess for us, we're just trying to keep safe, keep going out to the minimum, I guess, like go out in numbers and stuff like that.
We just have to be careful. If anything gets worse, we definitely have to be more careful going to school.
The violence in Egypt shows that changing a country involves a whole lot more than just removing the man in charge. All this means that next week's elections are now in doubt, and so is the future of thousands of people here.
Last up, we've been asking you what gets you bursting with pride.
Getting up in the morning. I don't know about you, I'm finding it really hard right now. Anyway, a new survey's listed the top 10 things that make us proud to be British, so we sent Ricky off to find out what you reckon.
William Shakespeare, the man behind Romeo and Juliet, topped the poll of people that make you most proud. He was closely followed by the Armed Forces, the Union Jack and the Royal Family.
Four lads from Liverpool, otherwise known as the Beatles, also made it onto the list. For me, I'm most proud of the BBC, but then again, I am biased. We wanted to find out what makes you proud to be British.
We're holding the 2012 Olympics next year and I'm really proud that we're going to be hosting it in London. We've got very good tolerance in the country and that we're kind to other coloured people, not just white.
It's enough for even the most unpatriotic person to shed a tear. I don't know about you, but it's got me in the mood for a nice cup of tea. See you later. Land of hope and glory.
Wow, it really is catching on, isn't it, this
Yeah.
one? Let's hear what some of you guys said.
Amy from Somerset says the fact that we have loads of great celebrities who teach you who you are and the X Factor.
Jack just said fish and chips. We're done. See you guys
Bye.
later. Bye.
You can wear this.
No, thanks.
If, just like